quiet town in Austria. Beneath a perfectly normal home, a secret was hiding. A secret so horrifying, so unimaginable, that when the truth finally came out, the entire world stopped. This is the true story of Elisabeth Fritzl, the woman in the basement, and the house across the street, where someone was watching and waiting. Elisabeth Fritzl was 18 years old when she told her mother she was going to run away. That was the story her parents believed. But Elisabeth never left the town of Amstetten. She didn't even leave the property, because that very day, her father, Joseph Fritzl, led her into the basement of their family home and locked the door behind her. What followed was 24 years of horror. Joseph Fritzl had built a hidden, soundproofed dungeon under the house, and inside that underground prison, he kept Elisabeth, cut off from the world. No sunlight, no freedom, no hope. He told his wife, neighbors, and police that Elisabeth had joined a cult, that she wanted no contact, and people believed him, because upstairs, everything looked normal. In that basement, Joseph raped his own daughter over 3,000 times. She gave birth to 7 children. 3 of those children he allowed to live upstairs, raised by him and his wife as abandoned babies. The others, they stayed downstairs, locked in that dungeon. And for decades, the secret held. Until 2008, one of Elisabeth's children, Kirsten, fell gravely ill. Joseph finally brought her to a hospital, but doctors were baffled. The girl had never seen sunlight. Her immune system was failing. They demanded answers, and Joseph's web of lies began to unravel. Elisabeth was found, alive, after 24 years underground. The world was horrified. The media called it a house of horrors. Joseph Fritzl was arrested. He showed no remorse. He was sentenced to life in prison. Elisabeth and her children began the long, impossible road to healing. But just when the world thought this nightmare was over, another door creaked open. Across town, someone else had been paying attention. 2 years later, police in a nearby Austrian town received a chilling call. A neighbor reported strange noises coming from the cellar of a modest home. When authorities arrived, they were met by a man in his 40s, nervous, pale, cooperative, but something felt off. Inside the house, everything appeared normal, until they found a trap door, and under that door, a staircase led to a small, reinforced room. Inside it, a 17-year-old girl, frightened, thin, shaking. She had been missing for nearly 2 years, and here's where it gets worse. The man who kept her there had no criminal record. He was described as kind, quiet, and harmless by neighbors. But in his private journals, authorities found something disturbing. He had been obsessed with the Fritzl case, cut out newspaper articles, printed transcripts. He even studied Joseph's techniques for hiding sound, avoiding suspicion, and manipulating victims. This wasn't a random crime, it was an imitation. He copied the methods of a monster, right down to the room dimensions. He wanted to recreate Fritzl's prison. He wanted control, and he nearly got away with it. It's horrifying enough when one man builds a secret prison to keep his daughter captive. But what's worse is when someone watches that tragedy unfold and sees it not as a cautionary tale, but as a blueprint. The Fritzl case didn't just shock the world. It inspired another predator. A girl's suffering was turned into a textbook, a twisted manual. And here's the most chilling part. He didn't live across the street in the literal sense, but in the same quiet region, in the same kind of neighborhood. He saw how Joseph got away with it for so long, and he thought, so can I. He wasn't alone. After the Fritzl case went public, multiple attempted copycats were reported across Europe. It was as if opening that basement door had let something else escape. Not just one victim, but an idea. A blueprint for evil. The story of Elisabeth Fritzl is one of unthinkable cruelty, but also unimaginable survival. She didn't just live through it. She endured. She raised children in darkness. And she faced the man who stole her life with her head held high. But the tragedy didn't end with her rescue, because someone was always watching, waiting, learning. And while Elisabeth found the strength to walk back into the light, someone else tried to drag another girl into the shadows. That's the danger of stories like these. They're not just shocking headlines. They're reflections of what humans are capable of. And sometimes, the real monster isn't hiding in the basement. He's just across the street. Subscribe for more true stories with a hidden twist.